ever wanted to call someone a bastard moor? You barstool. Nearly got killed by someone in a Nissan Micra. Excuse me, sir. Oh, this is endless. Oh, balls, no. It's Thursday, and I'm not planning on doing anything today. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I feel bad because, well, I'm not walking the dog, and I've still not read any of A Sprinkle of Sorcery, and I'm a few days behind on the Christmas Chronicles. But everyone's gone out, so I'm going to go, and I'm going to sit in my corner, and I'm going to read and drink tea for about 20 minutes to half an hour before me dad and brother get back. And the reason behind this is the last day that I'll be able to properly just sort of rest and relax before for at least another week. It's just, I have to factor in time to get that relaxing done. The dog is pestering me as well. Not because she wants a walk, just because she wants attention. So, A Sprinkle of Sorcery. Whilst the writing of Michelle Harrison is good, I find this children's book fast-paced. And I said yesterday how I think I've recognised the twist that's going to be coming our way. It's a bit repetitive when I consider what happened in the first book. And I wonder whether it's always going to be the case of the youngest sibling needing rescuing. I'll see how I feel towards the end. But currently, I'm thinking it's a bit samey, but then is that what we want from a sequel? Expanding the world whilst having a similar narrative? If we compare other series, do they do something similar? I should point out I could have lit up this video a bit better by opening this curtain, but I chose not to. Also, last night, but on Warehouse went well, I wrote a poem called Christmas Can Wait, specifically for last night whilst I was at work. So I might recite that for you alongside Piss Wet Through, which I read, which I also read, but was based on a conversation, the first phone conversation I ever had with my nephew when he was 4 years old. And he had lived in Northumberland for a month, and he rang me screaming that he was piss wet through because they had really bad snow, so bad that they couldn't actually get up the drive from the valley they were in. And helicopters had to fly and help him and all that fun stuff, because it was military ground as well. So my nephew had his experience of proper snow, and so I wrote this experience down as though I were my older brother, discussing how tough it is to be a farmer farming sheep in a Northumbrian winter. So, like I say, it's actually, I said 2:30, but it's probably getting on for closer to 3 o'clock. And I've not read, I've not eaten. I've edited a video that was supposed to be the start of this vlog, but ended up being a wool gathering video because it was so long. And I'm still just completely lackadaisical about the day. I'll hopefully see you tomorrow looking a bit less unkempt. But yeah.
Piss wet through? Piss wet through? Coat and trousers piss wet through? Mummy, Daddy, Frank and Harry, in my drawers and in my wellies. No idea what we'll do. We're piss wet through with snow. Went to try and corn the sheep. Couldn't find them for the sleet. Lost the feeling in me feet. Piss wet through with snow. Tried the quad and 4 before. Couldn't get them up the moor. Feet were really getting sore. Piss wet through with snow. Took a spade, took a shovel, to clear the road at the double. The pay is barely worth the trouble, still piss wet through with snow. If you think you've had it tough, I don't bluster, I don't bluff. Northumberland is bloody rough when it's piss wet through with snow.
It's no better. I'll have to try and be quick because it is 20 to 9. I arrived here with a coffee that I made for myself. I don't think this is going to be a regular thing because quite frankly, by the time I get here, it's cold and I don't like to drink whilst I'm driving. So I arrived and I was going to start recording straight away, but this man from upstairs turned up and I thought, oh, he'll go straight up, but he didn't. He decided to fanny about getting stuff out of his car, so I had to wait around for that. Drank the coffee anyway. Basically, warm milk at this point. Tepid is the word. Someone used that word with me the other day. They said tepid, and I thought, you know what? It's been a long time since I've heard that word. I'm going to use it. Well, there I have done. After speaking with you yesterday, I did go on and finish reading a sprinkle of Sorcery, but I should say prior to that I caught up on reading Nigel Slater's Christmas Chronicles. I was glad to be in silence for this book, to have nobody there, because that is much my preferred way of reading it. Although Nigel Slater is only writing short vignettes in these stories, well, diary entries really, there's something very evocative about the way he writes, and I very much enjoy the experience of having no outside distractions from family members making noise or the television, just so that I can focus on what has been written down. And I do find it very evocative of the season. Although similar to last year, I do find myself getting frustrated by some of Nigel Slater's ideas about Christmas, but we're always going to disagree on what makes a good Christmas. And I think that Nigel Slater's going for something a bit more middle class. He's done his research into all of the different things about Christmas. He's looking at something at Christmas as something that hasn't been so commercialized, and I can appreciate that, and I can appreciate the quietude, the quietness of this book. So I caught up and then I read ahead because I don't know whether I'll get a chance to read it today, over the weekend. Friday and Saturday when I'm working, I find difficult to get the time to read, to get everything in that I want to do, especially if I'm trying to avoid watching the soaps. Also, ran out of the hairspray I used, so I had to use some that my mother had got lying around. Don't know how old it was, but Lord, I've got a tiny bit of a sore throat this morning, so I'm going to be knocking back a few cups of tea this morning to try and get rid of it. Sprinkle of Sorcery, second book in the Pinch of Magic series. It's the sequel to A Pinch of Magic anyway, by Michelle Harrison. And we are returning to, well, their world, and it's the Widdowson sisters, and once more Charlie has been kidnapped and Fliss and Betty have to go out to save her. We do have a focus on the middle sister Betty in these books. She's very much the everyman of the tale. I think that if you are of the age group that these books are meant for, then you're going to really enjoy them. You're going to enjoy the repetitive nature of the tale, and you know, quite honestly, I can't say anything about sequels being repetitive. If we look at the Doris books, incredibly repetitive storytelling style. I'll get it out of the way and say that I liked it. I was correct yesterday when I said that I believe I'd guessed the twist. I was right about that twist. I guessed the twist simply because a certain character was noticeable in their absence, and that meant that I guessed what this twist would be. I think as an adventure story, it does well, and it moves quickly, and there is a sense of moralism there. I'm like this over certain children's books nowadays, because oftentimes I worry that everyone is too kind, and we are trying to create heroes within children's literature that are infallible. And sometimes feels like there's a Mary Sue quality about a lot of the main characters that I have read in children's fiction recently. But saying that, when I think about the Impossible Magic book, whatever that was last month, she was a character who had something to overcome. And perhaps I'm looking at characters that, I don't know. I'm glad to see sibling relationships where sometimes the girls don't get on, but there is a love at the core, and we aren't setting them up against each other as has so often been the case in the past. There was something there that irked me a little bit, simply because we keep seeing the conversation about scars and deformity ought not to be the representation that we use for villainy, and yet it was used for a certain character here. However, Michelle Harrison does later go on to say that these were not attributes of their villainy, they were things that happened to this person when they were good before they turned to villainy, really. But also, it's a tenuous one for me, that I think for a character that was only used to instill horror in the protagonist, and that was done through their scars and their lack of certain limbs. To me, I did not think it had been done well, but perhaps if these characters reappear in a future novel, this will be addressed. I don't know. It was one that it felt like lazy writing in order to emphasize why a certain person was an antagonist. Also, pirates. I don't know that I'm the biggest fan of pirates. I never had that thing of watching all those pirates films that came out when I was younger. Do you need to have an adoration of pirates for this book? I don't know. All I do know is that I'm glad to have finished it, and I probably wouldn't be reading the next book as soon if it wasn't for my buddy read with Emily of Noval Novels next week. And I think that, as has been the case with other books in the past, with the sequel, I am going to prefer the reading experience of reading it with Emily than I am actually going to enjoy the book itself. Simply because this book has not left me looking forward to the next book. However, something I should say, and I commend Michelle Harrison for, is how each book tells a complete story. There aren't necessarily any loose ends left over. When I read A Pinch of Magic, I didn't expect it to have a sequel. A Sprinkle of Sorcery, the book ends and that could be a final book. Michelle Harrison is giving her readers the opportunity to jump off at any point. I feel like I can rely on her as a writer to tell a complete tale and not to leave any threads dangling, as well as having a very immersive reading experience, even if sometimes I can see the threads and see how things are going to work out. There are plenty of good things within her books to keep you reading, such as the fairy tales and the folklore that she's created about this small town, the little twists she's used with it from British folklore, and the way she's twisted them to tell her own stories are somewhat impressive, and I will give her that. But once again, I'm reading middle grade fiction, and I think that middle grade readers will find this a fascinating series, and I think had I been reading this as a middle grade reader, even into my teens, then I would have rather enjoyed it. Anyway, I will have to go because I'm very knowledgeable of the fact that my manager and my volunteer are going to show up in the next few minutes. So I will probably see you tomorrow. Also, I should just mention very quickly, it was pouring down with rain when I got home when I woke up this morning, but when I went to bed last night, everything was blanketed in snow. And I feel like Lucy in Narnia at the moment because nobody else in my house saw this snow. So everybody feels like I'm a bit of a, well, yeah, I'm being treated like a bit of a liar at the moment. But there was snow and I was concerned because I was thinking, how am I going to get to work? Because it was coming down so late. So I was like, nobody's prepared for this. Then the rain had washed everything away by the time I got up. Or did I just manifest the rain? Do I have that power? I don't really have an update for you today, simply because a few weeks ago I started recording my reading Agatha Christie vlog. This is where I had saved 4 Agatha Christie books from the bin at work, and I said on Instagram, do you think make a vlog? So I started vlogging it, but then I had to read some other books, so they interrupted my reading. Therefore, the book that I'm reading, I will have to save for that vlog. But I did only read 50 pages of it last night anyway. My manager had to leave work early yesterday, and therefore there were just 2 of us running the shop all day. I'm very grateful to my volunteer who, although she doesn't like going on the till, went on the till so as I could try and get the back room a bit tidier. However, I do know that means this afternoon she's going to request that I go on the till instead. You just can't win, can you? Anyway, that's my update for today. Well, no. Got home, had tea, watched stuff on YouTube, then read. Learnt Italian. That's my update for today. And now I'm going to disappear because I want to go and sneeze. I really should have drawn a line under this vlog on Saturday, but I had it in my head that there might have been the slightest opportunity for me to speak to you yesterday. However, that wasn't to be. Unfortunately, the first week of Vlogmas has seen me at work more often than not. Therefore, I haven't really got any footage outside of the bits where I've been coming and chatting to you every day. So luckily we finished a sprinkle of Sorcery, and you've heard me talk about that. Been reading an Agatha Christie that you will see in a vlog at some point. My Agatha Christie vlog, I just have 1.5 books left to read now, and I'm continuing with the Christmas Chronicles by Nigel Slater. And I've read today's portion already because I'm at work and I doubt I'll get the opportunity to. Anyway, I do wish to say that I haven't been watching much booktube of late, but yesterday I watched Lauren of Lauren and the Books. I watched her vlog for the first few days of Vlogmas, and it was entirely festive, and I thought it had a very fantastic production quality, and I thoroughly enjoyed the experience of getting to sit there and watch it and just see Lauren and David glory in the joy that is this festive season. So I'm going to leave a link to that in the description, and please go and watch it. In fact, you should probably watch all of Lauren's videos because she is just the epitome of festivity. I will create another vlog this week and continue vlogging. However, again, work commitments are here, and so there might not really be that big a production quality. There might not be anything interesting, but if anything, I will try and talk about the books I am reading. This has been the first few days of December, and it's retail. Christmas in retail is always busy, and I'm used to it. I hope that you have got something out of this video. And I hope that whatever you're doing in December, you're enjoying yourselves, because until next time, that is all.
Christmas can wait. I'm not prepared for Christmas. In my mind, it's currently March. Sweet peas and wooden enemies, not robin redbreasts and frost. I haven't the time for tinsel to decorate a plastic tree. It'll be up the loft of being eaten by moths before I am ready. Forget shiny beads and baubles, garlands and red berries. I've got to settle the old debate of an angel's star or fairy. No, I'm not prepared for Christmas. It's taken me unawares. I'm not yet beach body ready, still shaped like a polar bear. If it snows, I'll shudder. I can't think of anything worse than driving to town to slip on black ice and end December in a nurse. I've not done any shopping for wine or gifts or food, so please don't send your Christmas lists. You'll be receiving IOUs. No, I'm not prepared for Christmas. It's something I could do without. I do not care for your baked camembert or your bacon-fried Brussels sprouts. I am not prepared for Christmas. It's still March in my head, so I'm going to sleep. I'll hibernate. I'll spend winter in my bed.